sort of your beginnings and Dangerous Toys and where all that came from, but I just mentioned you were probably one of the busiest people I know. I don't know how you handle just covering so many different genres of rock, how you end up having that inspiration for all the projects that you do. Could you tell me a little bit about what inspires you when you start a new project or take a different angle than maybe Dangerous Toys or Igniter or something? Like what brings you through that? What inspires you?
Anything that it can come from any place at any time. The culture itself sort of feeds itself, but there's also things in life that are inevitable that will make you feel or say or do something that you go, oh, and you sort of. I don't write journals. I don't read. I watch a lot of movies.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
I watch a lot of kind of a TV baby, I guess, but I like horror films. But, once again, I'm not saying that I sit around and watch horror films all day long. Oh, I got to write a record. I'm going to go watch some horror films. No,
I've watched all of the, Hammer films.
And I'm still bone dry. I still got nothing on paper. Or I still got no riffs or whatever, But I think that, just kind of to... sort of dartboard. It could come from anywhere, like I said, but sometimes the phone rings and it's someone I don't even know. There's, hey, you don't know me, but I've got these songs and blah, blah, blah. Oh, I've heard of you before. And then it starts to, I have to listen to the material before I put pen to paper or voice to microphone.
Right.
I have to hear the songs and know the vibe or anything. Like I have this brand new, kind of going backwards, my most recent thing is a project called Howling Sycamore.
Howling Sycamore. I wanted to bring that up because that is.
You've heard it?
Yes, I have heard it.
You might be the only one person in here who's heard Howling Sycamore.
Howling Sycamore.
Really? Y'all have heard Howling Sycamore?
Yeah. Dude.
Really? Holy crap! I better wipe the shit off my face. That's awesome. Thank you. It's very different.
Very different. That's case in point, and why I brought up how you move through these different genres and styles, because that is it's got this almost dark prog, thrashy jazz fusion. It's all over the board.
It's all of those things, and David Tissot, the guitar player, is the guy that contacted me to involve me in the project, and I still have yet to meet him.
Really?
The record came out, a year ago or a year and a half ago or whatever it is now, and I've never met him. And that's technology. I'm recording vocals at home and hitting him an email, and then I might call him.
Maybe a Skype.
We've spoken on the phone. It's not as weird as you think, but we've spoken on the phone. And he's a great artist and a fantastic musician, and he's writing everything. That's another thing too, is I'm writing all the melodies. He's letting me sing in the tracks wherever I feel something needs to be there.
So giving you a lot of control for your own
right
parts,
before he's the lead guitar player, so he's letting me have the whole game before he even puts his guitars where he wants his guitars to go. He's letting me go above and beyond and just feel and sing wherever I feel like the song. And the songs are these journeys. They're like these
epic journeys.
Right, they're long. The songs are long. There'll be like 6 songs or 7 songs on the record, and the record is still 45 minutes long. So the songs are 7-8 minutes long. So,
but it's truly a collaborative effort, though, even though you're not necessarily writing in the same room. And
yeah, and he's writing the lyrics, and here's the lyrics. Make changes if you feel like this line sucks, right?
yeah.
Or whatever, and so that's great that there's that, So, well, you sang one word wrong. I don't, that's not happening.
I'm splicing that out, and I'm going to change it.
Well, he's Italian. He's from Italy, and he sounds exactly like you would imagine an Italian speaking English, because he's his family is still over there. He lives in San Francisco right now, but. So that's been interesting too. So his lyrics are odd. There's a in English.
a little lost in translation.
Not a barrier. I was going to say, you know, your
Yeah,
vocabulary is better than mine, but he, he likes to use certain words like in all of the songs. So that can be a good thing because then it kind of has this makes all of the songs one thing. And so I'm trying to break him of that secretly by oh, there it is again. I'm going to scratch that out and
see if he notices. See if he
sing
notices.
Yabba Dabba Doo here instead of whatever he, you know. So.
And not only the project also allows you to really explore your vocal range. You're not just doing.
Oh, it's vocal acrobats.
Yeah.
I'm spinning and jumping and running and crushing and destroying and you know it's good and evil all the way through, and I love that. And I also love it that I didn't have to write any of the words. It just makes it easier for me to sort of like see what it is that he's trying to say within this lyric and within the music before I even see the lyrics.
Right.
I'm going, whoa, that's broody as fuck. That's going to be fun to sing something over. And it can be the most like, you know, the most crushing, just, you know, and I'm going to go, oh my God, you know, I get emotionally attached to the songs immediately when that happens. That goes back to, I have to hear the songs, dude. I can't say yes.
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
I don't even know you.
And was this out of the blue? I mean, did he just kind of contact you, or was there a mutual connection?
It's like someone you've never met or seen asking you on a date.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it can be, you know, you're like you want to do a good job for the right reasons.
Right. And you're also like you're lending not just your vocal talents, but I mean you're pouring yourself into that, you know. So yeah, if you're not feeling it, if you don't like the songs, then
so back to it's interesting not to be all over the place, but I'm kind of scatterbrained anyway.
As am I. We're going to go on a weird tangent, I think.
It's okay. I hope they're okay with it. So, but still, Howling Sycamore shit. He's, you know, created something really interesting by way of people I've never heard of before. That I feel dumb because when I hear people come up, dude, you're on this thing with fucking Hans Grossman and all this. I'm like, who the fuck is that? It's the drummer on your fucking album, dude. And it's like, oh shit, yeah, that guy's badass, isn't he?
Awesome.
And it's like, I don't even know who they're talking about. It's like, you just made a record with this guy. Get the fuck. You know? So it's embarrassing sometimes in the interviews that I've done where they're more or less about the Sycamore record.
The players and on it.
Yeah, I'm like, I have to be honest with you immediate. I don't know these people.
Never met them in my life.
Right, the only connection we have is music. The planet, that we live on the same planet together, but we don't know each other.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah. And it's writing, is there still projects that you're doing like Broken Teeth? Like, are you getting into a room and writing together for stuff like that?
There is a little bit of that, but you know, I feel like the older we get, the busier we get, and I guarantee anyone in a band is not necessarily getting in the garage and turning up the heat. I think for the most part, it's one or two guys collaborating via emails. I do know that a lot of bands still like to get in the garage and hash it out, but it's after there's skeletons of songs put together already.
Things have been laid out, and now with technology, we can do that.
Right.
Via the internet.
But you mentioned Broken Teeth. We fantasize about that, you know, that place that is sacred, that is the garage where you know, the drummer's there, everyone's there, and you're going, hey, play that riff again, and and you're just singing kind of dummy lyrics over it.
And Broken Teeth is that type of band too. It feels like it's because it's just a just breaking down the door rock and roll. It's high energy. It's
the devil in your sister's pants, rock and roll. Yeah, it's dirty.
You should write that one down.
It's good, dirty rock and roll.
Yeah.
But it's also got like a Motorhead.
Yeah.
And but it's definitely AC/DC and Rose Tattoo and all that shit. But it's, you know, it's boogie woogie rock and roll, but it's also on fire. You know, and it's it's like I think people were asking me about it yesterday. I said something like, it's like AC/DC getting up on the wrong side of the bed and happy about it. You know what I mean? Like, God damn, I'm so fucked. And this is awesome. You know, it's kind of like
now
this,
it's time to party.
Really, and kind of like dirty but good.
Yeah, it's gotta be fun to write though. I mean, it's gotta.
Well, there's no qualms about it. We know what kind of rock and roll it is, and I'm a metalhead. I'm the metal dude in every band I've ever been in. I'm the metal dude. Everyone else is like my early days with Watchtower. Those guys weren't really metalheads. They're like into jazz and pop and all this muso stuff, and I'm like, man, I just want to scream and make noise and be metal. And these guys are, like playing their asses off, and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. I'm the least talented motherfucker in the room, But it gave me a place, to be creative on top of something that no one had ever heard before. And I guess I'm going, you could say, from my early 80s beginnings, we're talking 81, 82, is when I joined Watchtower, all the way to right now with Howling Sycamore, where it's just kind of this, like, frenetic, fucked up.
Yeah,
Watchtower was exactly like that. Yeah. But I'm not 18 anymore.
So you've got a totally different perspective and all the years and experience.
I'm fucking old now. But it's just like, this is the same feeling.
That's awesome, and I think that was one of my other sort of the second part of that whole questioning was not only like where do you find the styles and stuff, but the drive and the passion to just to not want to be like I'm over this. What is it? Is it just your love of music through and through? Is it you're just like that just keeps you?
It's everything that you're saying. I mean, because it's the same reason anyone would want to do anything that they do and are known for doing, because it's who they fucking are.
Just in you.
If it's not, it was never who you are anyway. You know? It's like people who say shit like, I'm going to get kind of proverbial and sort of like preachy here for a second. It's kind of like people who say, I used to like metal.
Used to?
The fuck is that? I used to like metal. Yeah, me and my friends, we used to be headbangers. Oh, those were funny days. We were so silly. It's like, really?
It was a costume, was it for you?
That's so lame. So weak. To me, anyway. And, I think that to be obsessed with something like everyone here is, to be safe, I could probably say this.
Through and through metalheads.
I think to be obsessed with something is to know freedom, to know love.
And it can be a curse too to be obsessed with something that hard sometimes too.
Well, and you sound like the parents, you sound like the preachers, and you sound like the doctors, and you sound like, here, you better take this pill because your parents are worried about you. It's like, no, I think that you can come from any belief, any religion, any political stance, and still be a headbanger. I really do think that you can, because it's a tribe, and all that other shit just doesn't even matter. It just gives you something that you believe in to write your lyrics about and feel a certain way about your music.
And for you, being a metalhead, was it born and raised? What was your first sort of inspiration? And someone was like, not only do I want to sing, but I want to fucking rock. Like what really?
Well, if I may, this might take an hour or two, but I'll try to put it in minced words here. It was the fucking babysitter.
Really?
Well, you don't mince those words.
Okay.
I didn't fuck the babysitter.
I was going to need some clarification, please.
Yeah, the babysitter, I probably wanted to, but I wasn't trying to. I didn't know what fucking was. So she was playing Elton John. And I know, okay, Elton John, yeah.
I just asked about metal, right? Is anybody here?
Yeah, no, I know, but just stay with me.
I'm staying with you.
Yeah, and I was like, what's that? And it's it's this Elton John, man. I was listening to it. I think it was the Caribou album. It might have been Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. I don't know. But we're listening, and hours went by, and I was just mesmerized because I was listening to little kid little 45s of Mickey Mouse and whatever, Charlie Brown and whatever, little 45s from the. I'm old, but anyway,
you 45 children's records and stuff.
Yeah, you get it. And so I hadn't really bought my first album yet, and I may have been in like third grade or something. I don't know, and it kind of, I was like, whoa, this is different. I start looking at albums, and she's really like into it, and she's saying, and I'm like, whoa, that's awesome. Well, the same shit started happening to, I have 2 older brothers and 1 younger. The same exact thing around the same time started happening. I'm like, hey man, you got any albums, right? And he was like, wow, how do you know what albums are? And I started looking at all their stuff, and my younger brother turned me on to AC/DC and Judas Priest, and my older brothers turned me on to like ZZ Top and Nazareth and Moxie and all these really cool 70s hard rock that are sort of like proto metal, you know. And I saw, I started getting into Queen. One of my brothers gave me News of the World, and I was fucking hooked. You know, I got Night at the Opera right after that and just fucked my shit up. I fell in love with rock and roll, and then I discovered Kiss.
And then everything
So
changed.
these guys are having more fun than any. I thought Elton and Freddie were having all the fun, and you know, those guys are, you know, they like to have fun, you know. But you know, Kiss really did something to me, because it's like, man, they're mixing up like comic book hero shit and Beatles and fire and horror.
And outer space.
Right, and blood. And oh my God, this is a fucking devil's circus with rock and roll songs.
That are fun and you want to listen to. And,
yeah. So from all of the things that led up to Kiss, those things were still, they were over here.
Yeah, but it was laying the groundwork. You were listening to like, again, very vocal heavy, you know, I think that was like the one thing that ties all those together are amazing vocalists.
Yeah, and I honorable mentions would be Alice Cooper and old Ted Nugent and UFO and Thin Lizzy. I saw, you know, I was into Rush, and the 2112 album changed my life too. It was a religious experience because I think that they invented progressive metal because
Absolutely.
of the way Geddy was singing. It was so like, you know, he was just going off.
Yeah. And the tales they were spinning in their songs as well. And
it was sick.
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of how I got into it. My family and friends, and I grew up around it in South Texas, and there was some DJs there in the 70s in the areas that were feeling the same thing that the rest of the world was feeling, and bringing it to the angry teenagers who wanted to rock.
Yeah,
and, so,
and it's great that you were able to be, you know, thanks to the older brothers and everything, just to surround you with those the seeds that plant those seeds that really.
I didn't really start singing. I mean, sure, I sang in the choir 5th and 6th grade and shit like that, and I wore my Kiss T-shirt every day and my Kiss belt buckle every day. And they thought I was weird, and the jocks would kick my ass and turn me upside down in the trash can, and. You know, unless it was only one of them walking.
Yeah.
If one of them was walking, they wouldn't fuck with me at all. And I'd be like, oh, where's all your fucking friends at? Oh, okay. I see how it's going to be. Right.
But getting into singing, though, I mean, no one just jumps out of the gate and just starts wailing the way that you do. Like, was it?
Don't?
Do they? Do they? Did you showed up the first day?
I've never had a lesson, and now I'm a voice teacher, so I don't know how that worked, but it did. And my parents, my older brother and my mother bought me a cheap bass guitar because I was Gene Simmons fanatic, right?
Right.
You know, and I started learning songs just off, you know, dropping the needle in the groove and listening to songs, and it was like magic to me. I literally felt like there was smoke and fire and aura and witchcraft coming off the record, and I'm like, you know, trying to bathe in it and baptize them. How is this happening? I didn't even know how to tune the thing, you know, and I'm
but really, it's still magical.
Figuring it out, like kind of like the Rush song in 2112, Discovery.
Yeah.
What can this strange device be? It's got magic. When I touch it, it gives forth the sound. It was literally that vibe. I was going, oh my God, this is religion to me. And I just never stopped, and it was every day. And sure, you grow up playing some football, and there's some bonding with your parents, and you know, you ride bikes and skateboards and shit like that. But then rock and roll, like all that shit just went away. So and so I just kept at it. My first band, probably 14, playing bass. I moved to Austin from Corpus Christi in like '80. I'd had a couple of bands and one band had kicked me out, and I think they mentioned me as once being a member of their band now on their website.
Oh, nowadays.
But I thought you kicked me out. Why are you going to do that? Why would you mention the shithead you kicked out of your band? You know. Anyways, though, it's kind of funny. I met the guys in Watchtower, and their bass player was just like a god, Doug Keyser, and so they wanted me to be the singer, and I'd been singing about 6 months, and it was kind of one of those things where you have a band, and you're the bass player, you got a drummer, you got a guitar player, a couple guitar players, and you need a singer. And it's like, man, I want to play these songs with vocals on top of them. And you start telling your friends, and they start showing up. You know, I'm a singer, man, I can sing. And they start coming over, and you're like, all right, man, we're trying out so and so today, and you hear them singing.
No, all right.
Okay.
Thanks,
all right.
guy.
All right. So after a few times, you're looking back at your drummer. That's just me and you sing. So me and my drummer started singing. 6 months later, we were both fronting bands. I didn't play bass in a band. I joined Watchtower as a singer, and my buddy Mike had joined another thrash band called Militia, who's actually playing this weekend with Nasty Savage in Texas. Y'all know Nasty Savage? That's old school, bro. So anyway, I just full on, about 7 or 8 years with Watchtower. Billy White, founding member, was leaving the band in '86. I got Doug Keyser an auditioning spot after Cliff died with Metallica. He was one of the top 5, actually. And that was right around the time.
Close, yeah.
Yeah, that's right around the time. Oh, he's a bad motherfucker. And that was right around the time I met the guys in Megadeth, and I met Ellefson down in Texas around that same time. Lots of cool stuff happening right there. The dam was breaking. Thrash metal was.
The scene was starting to build up.
We
was
were
it still
3
in
or
Texas?
4 years into thrash metal at that. Yeah, I'm in Austin from 1980 until right today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
the sea, it was starting to, something magic was happening.
Yeah,
the dam was breaking. It was happening.
But by the end of '86, a founding member Watchtower, guitar player Billy White, who went on to play on a Don Dokken record, Up From the Ashes, that has Mickey D on drums and Peter Baltes from Accept on bass. It's not that good of a record, but I love Billy White and Mickey D, and John Norum played guitar on that as well. Let's see.
After Watchtower, was that?
I started moonlighting with these guys that ended up becoming Dangerous Toys.
So that was something that you were kind of just
About
flirting with.
87, 88-ish, and then by the end of '88, the Toys got a deal. We weren't looking for a deal. We weren't trying to be rock stars. It was just like playing the clubs in Texas and doing covers and whatever, But you have to think about the musical climate right around that time too. So we were playing actually these new bands like Guns N' Roses and Faster Pussycat and shit like that. And so somebody liked it.
Yeah, somebody was like,
I was doing that for about 6 months, and then somebody offered us a fucking record deal.
That's amazing. But it was, like you said, it's the climate. Everything was changing at that time, and they were hungry for talent. And,
that's right.
And there you guys were.
Well, and they were looking for a guy with red hair and tattoos that could sing high.
Like we needed another one of those.
Yeah. But it happened to Metallica. It happened to Nirvana. It happened to Pearl Jam. It happened to.
Yeah, it was just,
I think Nickelback is like a conglomerate of all of that kind of stuff that was happening too. And there's a bunch of those kind of sort of, this is not the right word, but sort of prefabricated radio rock bands that had that. And I'm not even dogging out styles or anything, because, rock and roll is you're creating something, and if someone likes it, it doesn't matter if it's pop or what. It doesn't matter. It's all rock related.
Yeah.
If there's a guitar player in the band, I'll find something good to say about you.
Yeah, and I think that just comes from obviously being a fan of music and being a musician yourself. You can see the quality in that. But you're absolutely right with the climate of rock and metal at that time. The labels were looking for somebody to fill those shoes. You guys were showing up, obviously talented, and they were like, we're gonna put Toys together and put them on a record and cut that.
Yeah, and it's almost, one of those things like overnight sensation. I ran into Lars Ulrich in the bathroom at a club called Exposure 54, and like we were out there recording. It was probably late '88, maybe early '89, and he's like, "What are you do? What's going on, man? What are you doing out here?" And I said, "Wow, I got this thing, Dangerous Toys." Really? You signed to Columbia? Dude, that happened way too fast. He actually said that to me, and I'm like, "Hey, kind of right.
Yeah,
kind of right."
You were riding high at that moment. You were like, "Oh, we got signed." And you guys go, "Are you sure?"
But I understand what the proverbial like thing. It's like you kind of work up and you work hard and you have this thing and there's this trial and tribulation and you're not even a real adult yet when you're 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 and all this stuff. And it's like, so you have to have balance. And so the overnight sensation thing kind of is a real thing.
Yeah.
Because, music changed again, and a lot of pundits, reviewers, whatever, management, label people, when they saw Dangerous Toys, when it started to wane a little bit by 92, 93, 94, 95. We were still making records,
Right.
But, that sort of changing of the wind blows, and if the dollar bill is blowing with it, the world follows the dollar bill.
Right, and as soon as everybody was
doesn't
following
mean that you stop wearing black or tight pants or change your look or your style or what you love. You stick with what you love and what you do, right? You don't follow the trend, right? So it's kind of interesting what I just said, kind of, right?
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, did you feel pressured to make that change? Like, because when they were
quitting Watchtower was a big deal to me. It was an emotional thing because I had, like, cut my teeth as a singer with this band that is now known as arguably, disclaimer, right? Arguably, depending on who you talk to, the pioneers of technical metal. And you can ask Mike Portnoy, who used to write me fan letters.
No way.
Yeah. You can ask, you can't ask Chuck Schuldiner of Death anymore because he's no longer with us. Probably the biggest Watchtower fan I ever got to meet.
Wow.
The reissue of Spiritual Healing, you open the gatefold, he's going like this, Jesus Christ pose, Watchtower shirt. Interviews in the new Death by Metal documentary. You guys seen this? Death by Metal documentary. They're interviewing him for MTV or something. Watchtower shirt. It's like, must have been laundry day. My point is, he saw it. A lot of people saw it. So it's pretty cool that, to be recognized by something that you didn't really, we're just playing rock and roll, but
Yeah,
other
it
people
made a
hear it and
difference.
they're like, "Oh my God, what the fuck are you guys doing? Y'all are crazy. That shit's crazy." Oh man, we're just trying to make it interesting. It's a bunch of punk kids.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
to really just be doing something for the passion and the love of it, and then it being something that really influences and changes somebody else's life,
Right.
is pretty amazing. And
Well, exactly like what thrash metal did around the same time that we were doing that. It was like this thing inside of a thing, because Watchtower, they called it a thrash metal band, and it was because there was a lot of just rapid, blasty kind of
Blast
things
beat stuff,
happening.
yeah.
But it was also, the instruments were also falling down the stairs in time somehow, just really fast.
No, but I started at the top mentioning that I think you're the busiest dude ever with so many records coming out just consecutively. I do want to know what some of the next projects are, and do you think some of the current projects are going to have follow-up records, things like Broken Teeth and Howling Sycamore and stuff?
I have Howling Sycamore. I only have one more song to sing on the second record, and it's still Hans Grossman on drums, and it's of course David. He's the mother of the entire thing, and so the lyrics were written with the same. I should mention that Karen Crisis, I don't know if anybody knows who Karen Crisis. She's also involved in writing the lyrics from the first record as well as the new, and she's a great lyricist, and her stuff's very witchy. And
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Feeling good about this next
it's
set of songs.
And another weird thing doing interviews last year on the first record, it was, you know, not only did I say, I've never even met these guys, you know, it was like, I didn't even know the names of the songs. So I'm doing interviews and I don't know the names of the songs. So they're going, oh, I really like blah, 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 blah. I still don't know the names of the song. You know, I really like this one and that one. I'm going, well, thank you. Which one? How does that go?
What's the one that comes before that? Is that
Yeah, because David, he sends me the lyrics and the song and the songs, and the lyrics match the songs, but there's no titles. Well, they have titles. Or song 1, song 2,
yeah.
song 3.
Yeah. Track 3 final mix. You know, that's what you're getting when you're seeing
I wouldn't even get that. It was just 1, 2. So, you know, that's weird. So at least I don't know them yet, but this time at least I have titles written down somewhere of song 1, song 2, right. So, and there's an album title because the first one was just self-titled. So we're growing a little bit.
What about
maybe
performing
one day
this live?
Maybe one day I'll meet them.
I was going to say, performing live, is that something that might happen with
There's
this?
mention of that. Reggie's in Chicago is the venue slated, and it's supposed to be sometime March or April next year, but it's really so foggy I can't.
It's a loose thing right now, yeah.
Because I don't know, because I haven't even met the fucking people. It's like walk right by them in the hall. I'm looking.
They're like, oh, we're playing
Who
together
am I looking for? What
Yeah.
does this dude look like? Dude, he's in your band. What do you mean? So, you know, we might rehearse. and the music is so fucked up and crazy.
It's wild.
I would imagine we would have to rehearse. It's
I
like,
need to see
know
this
I'm going to
live.
fuck up the songs live. I know I'm going to. But the songs are so crazy, no one will even know.
No. Be like, I totally think that timing change was supposed to happen.
I'm singing right here. Not yet? Okay.
No.
Yeah.
So that's almost getting wrapped up. You said you have 2 more songs for that.
Yeah, and Broken Teeth is we're thinking about writing again. We have some riffs and stuff, and Evil United is a band that's kind of unsung. We just finished our 3rd record, and it's supposed to come out on Combat EMP label group. If I have the 2nd record on vinyl, and I have the 1st record on CD over there. If someone wants to take a chance on it, they can look it up on their phone and check it out. It's like modern metal, thrash metal, but there's a lot of old school in it. I also
So modern but old. Loud but soft. It's a little bit of both.
Yeah, kind of. But modern metal by way of everything's tuned to C.
Okay.
But it still has that. It still sounds like pissed off Judas Priest.
Right on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, everything I does kind of sounds like pissed off Judas Priest anyway. So what the hell is wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. That is totally fine.
And then I have a thing that I've been doing since 2000. Evil United I've been doing since about 2009. And I have a band that's also recently released a record called Igniter that I've been doing since 2007, and that's a little more classic Euro metal.
I was going to say, it's a little more classic thrash, but like a bit of a, European.
I call it Leather and Studs, Bullet Belt, Not Afraid to Rip Off King Diamond, and Destruction, or something like that, right?
I think that's a fair description.
Yeah. And we have a working title for our new record. It's called... what the hell is that title? You'll like it. It's worth it. Look, see, let me make something up real quick. No, it's called God. I'm sorry. Here it is. You ready?
Ready. Let's do.
The Golden Age of Black Magic. There.
Oh.
That's what
Dark.
it's called.
Yeah,
That's what the new Igniter
Golden
record
Age
is
of
called.
Black
The
Magic.
Golden Age of Black Magic. Use your imagination. It's going to be good. Yeah, and it sort of has a theme going on. There's another song on the record called Secrets of the Ram. Ooh. You see what I mean? It sounds like I've been reading King Diamond's journal.
You're rated as private diary, and
And anyway, the latest record by Igniter is also on EMP Label Group, and it's called Haunted by Rock and Roll. So we're not afraid to be silly about it either.
Yeah. You can feel a tongue in cheek, and it's
Oh, big time. Yet it is that sort of like, if you squint, sounds like it could have come out on early Metal Blade with bad cover art, which you fucking love because your kid across the street painted it for you. I want a dragon was, and he's throwing up skulls and they're on fire.
And he's wearing spikes, and it's just good. Yeah, it's
and
chrome.
It's 1982, and it's out on Metal Blade. That's what Igniter is really all about.
I really hope that is the cover art, by the way. I hope the cover art for that record is.
I mean, you can think about, the golden age of black magic. You already can see it's going to have a ram, and it'll be in gold like a false idol, and it'll, black and gold will probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's obvious. Things start to write themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the good shit.
Yeah, when we're on to something. This is great.
And last but not least, this is really weird to say this, but and I don't want to build it up, but the Dangerous Toys, we recently started writing songs.
Wow.
Last time we wrote a song was in 1995.
Wow, this is the first time. This is the first time I'm hearing about it.
I see a Dangerous Toys clown tattoo in the front row.
Oh yeah. That is. I had no idea that you guys were actually going to start writing and put some stuff together.
We started doing this thing called rehearsing, which we don't really do. I don't need to rehearse teasing pleasing again.
I think you got that one down pat.
We've been doing this shit 30 years or something now, and so but I think that it's a good feeling to be able to say that, and I like this about most of the bands other than Sycamore. I work with people that I've worked with my entire life, since the early 80s, making metal and making rock music. And that is like church, it's like family.
Yeah.
And that's why I love this Headbangers Con. That's why I love anything involving this type of forum, attitude, feel, love, all of it above. I want to say before I forget, did you guys know there's a bunch of vendors across the parking lot that are part of this team? Make sure you guys check it out over there because yesterday I think that
stuff.
a lot of the people in here didn't even know that there was a whole other room across the street with all this kick-ass shit over there.
It's amazing over there. Yeah.
And make sure you guys check it out over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a few more minutes left, and I'm actually just calling my man out here with the tattoo. Do you have any questions for him before we leave?
He's a plant.
Oh, he's a plant.
Yeah, he's a plant. I paid him to sit right there. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I've known this guy for, 15, 20 years now. The tattoo was legitimate, but he is on my label, and I put out every record he does. And
Good man. Good man.
He didn't say it. I'm the one who talked him into this Dangerous Toys writing new stuff thing, kind of. Well, me and Max Norman, it's kind of a
Little nudge, a little bit of a nudge.
but it's awesome. I love him, and he's the greatest guy in the world. And me and Dave both love him, and we're honored to have him on our label. And we reissued some of the Dangerous Toys records, and Igniter, and United, and Broken Teeth. And
Have you reissued any on some limited vinyl or anything? Yeah.
we actually did this on limited vinyl.
There's some back there.
Awesome.
We did
Awesome.
a picture disc, I'm all fucking 80.
Yeah, dude.
We did a picture disc version of this. We did the nice vinyl version. We did a CD version. Then we're doing some more next year. So it's all.
I should hand you the microphone.
Yeah, I could.
There's like 7 people in here.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's great. I mean, just the love and the passion from like you were just saying how there's the metal family, and maybe that was the catalyst that you needed to get back with the guys.
I get emotional on this kind of stuff. I really do think that there's something to it. I think that my wife thinks I'm crazy that I'm so obsessed with this shit, but this is my people, and it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you feel that that with the time the since '95 that you guys haven't done it, do you think that has that sort of that now coming back with the experiences that you've all had and the time that's spent, is it just like falling back into old friends and old family again, or was there a bit of a how do we get this spark going again?
What, with the writing of the toy stuff?
With the writing of the toy stuff, yeah. Like it's been a while. Like, did
Well,
you guys just fall back into it?
That's a good segue because for a long time now, and I can't even remember how long, it sounded like a broken record a little bit because a lot of fans would ask me, you know, people I didn't know, when's the new Toys record coming? When are you going to do that again? When are you going to do that? And I would be like, yeah, well, you know, a lot of the bands from the same era are putting out records that are not selling. But, you know, one day I realized, well, why are they still doing that if they're not selling? Well, it's because it's what they do. And they're not contractually obligated to do it anymore.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, they're independent releases for the most part.
Doing it because they want to be doing it.
Right, and they're still on the road, and and you guys know who I'm talking about. It's L.A. Guns and Faster Pussycat and stuff like that. But they're obviously doing it for the passion. They're doing it because it's what they do. And you know, this year I was like, well, why not? But you know, the stick up my ass was this. Can I show you the stick up my ass? This was the stick up my ass. This was the problem.
Is there children in the room? Is that
This was the problem that I had, and see if you guys can feel what I was talking about. I think that fans really just want to see and hear, and I've been proved wrong. But for years I say, man, they just want to hear Sportin' a Woody and Teasin' Pleasin' and Scared and Queen of the Nile so they can go home.
Yeah, they just want you to play them the hits, and
right.
then they can
and they
say this
kind
all.
of, you know, they might want to hear a few off the second record, and you know, damn, you know, that's half the set or almost the entire set, depending on who you're opening for.
Right.
You know, and then that's great because you know, oh, we already know what songs that we don't even need to write a set list. Let's just go out there and play those, and that worked for a long time, and it would still continue to work. But I think that with guys like Tom and the fans that go, you know, I just want you guys to do it because you were and are one of the bands that got me into rock and roll. I mean, my parents turned me on to you guys, and you know,
Right,
that's
yeah.
kind of aging myself.
Yeah, you're happy about that compliment, but also
Right.
like, oh, yeah.
Well, I am happy about it.
I know.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, the songs may not be the great songs that we felt like fans, you know, think. We were people are fond of that, and you know, those early records sold well. And if you're trying to compare it to that, you're thinking the way that you should not think. And
Right.
Gone full circle, by the way. You do this as an artist and a writer and a musician. You're a fan before anything else.
Yeah.
And you create things that you are a fan of so you can enjoy. You do it because of the passion and the love and the how you know,
Yeah.
to write a song that you cannot wait to play live, that's the drug.
Oh, it's honestly, that's I had a short-lived non-professional musical past, and that was the only thing that I miss about it is that, you know, you can't wait for someone to hear this thing you created and
You
put
win
it
your
out there.
fans one at a time, especially nowadays, and I've
Yeah.
been saying that a long time. Internet, thank you, Internet.
Thank
for
you,
that.
Internet.
But at the same time, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you do it for the right reason, and if you're doing it for any other reason.
And for that reason alone, the fact that you have that passion, that you're doing something that you haven't done in so long, which is getting back to writing Dangerous Toys stuff, I think for that, I'm even more excited, and I think the fans are going to be really, really pleased with what they get to hear from you guys, because you're doing it for the right reason, and I think it's going to make it, you know, something that fans will love and that you'll be really proud of, and we're excited to hear that. Is there any inclination when you think you might be able to put that out? You think it'll be a next year
There's no
thing?
idea. I was just going to say, I hope no one is holding their breath. For health reasons, I hope they're not holding their breath, because it's a slow process.
Right.
We don't know. I mean, of course, we know how to write a song, but you know, when you're just writing it for yourself, that's great,
Yeah.
and it makes you proud of it. But you also want your fans to understand that part of it, and maybe even buy it because they know that.
Right.
And I think that You know, it's as far as projecting some sort of release date.
So, yeah, it's an impossible.
Yeah, that's impossible. But I will say we're probably about 4 songs in, and they're pretty good as far as, you know, it's like if you have a sound that you're trying, you know, oh, we better make sure this sounds like, you know, teasing pleasing again, or it's not going to sell. Well, you know, right. The fans are different. The people who bought that first record,
yeah,
they're my age or older, or they got into it late, and you can't pinpoint who's going to like what for what reason anyway.
Yeah.
But you do want it to be, you want it to sound like when someone says Dangerous Toys at any age and whatever other genres of metal or hard rock they're into, you want anyone on the spectrum to feel a certain way when you say Dangerous Toys.
Like, oh yeah,
yeah,
I know.
I have a picture in my head, and if it doesn't sound like that, they're like, oh, I want to hear. Oh. That's what I'm worried about. But I can't worry about that.
And you've got the passion for it.
I need to worry about this right here.
Yeah. And right. And it's the love of metal, and again, for that, I think that we're in for a treat when that does drop. So, Jason, we're running out of time, and I want to thank you so much for having a chat with us.
Of course, thank you
and
for
hanging out
me.
here at the Headbangers Con. And thank you so much, man.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it, man.